Good afternoon and happy Thursday, everybody. It's Scott with River Place Capital. It is Thursday, October the 17th, and I know I've been off a couple of weeks, wanted to just kind of fill everyone in here we've seen in the market the last couple of weeks and really what we've seen this week in the marketplace. Driving the market for the last several weeks have been macro headlines, and the biggest one of those has been the China trade dispute with the United States. And we had a big meeting last week of the Chinese delegates and the United States delegates where it looks as if we've started a path towards a multi-phase deal with the Chinese. It looks like we have come to some type of tentative phase one agreement with the Chinese and works on continuing the separate phases. And what you saw from that is you saw a lift up in the market. As for the past 2 or 3 weeks, the market's been trading up on positive headlines or down on negative headlines, really all focused and centered around the Chinese trade dispute or headlines out of what's going on within Europe and Brexit and the EU as they're trying to negotiate that deal. And what we're really excited about is this week is kind of the kickoff, the very early part of earnings season. For 2 weeks leading up to when a company reports earnings, they have to be quiet. They can't really discuss anything that's going on within the company. And so what we really like to look at River Place is how are companies actually doing fundamentally? Are they growing? Is the overall environment one that is continuing to grow, or is it retracting? And how do the macro headlines have an effect, either positively or negative, on companies that are reporting? And so what we saw this week is we saw the big banks report. And really what we took away from the big banks as they were reporting is that the consumer continues to be very strong. Consumer spending is strong. You saw loan growth in the consumer side and the big banks continue to grow. You saw deposit growth and you saw consumer spending and credit card up significantly. And what that means and impact on the market is, remember, 70% of the U.S. Overall economy is made up of the consumer spending and what we do. And so a good indication of how the consumer is feeling is how the big banks are telling us their clients are acting. Now, it's too early to tell with so many more companies. Next week is really the big week of earnings season. But that's where we'll get a nice, really good takeaway to see how companies are doing, how they're responding to the macro issues, and what they're projecting moving into next year. So as always, if you have any questions on what's going on in the market, feel free to give us a call anytime, message us here on Facebook, or check us out online at www.riverplacecapital.com. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of the week and a wonderful weekend. Thanks.